have heard, if you listen to the last video, I did take Duke's Rune Ninjutsu in Kent, Washington, and it was a very intense course on how to severely hurt someone so they can't hurt you. So they don't have the possibility of thinking about hurting you because they're too busy trying to, well, they're focusing on a lot of pain or lack of oxygen or groin pain, the likes of which, oh my God, you don't want to mess with that. Now, training versus trauma. You know, I did all of the stuff that we are trained to do. Those of us who grew up in the system, we are trained to do this from the moment we go into the system. We're also well aware through the entire system that it's all bullshit. It is all complete bullshit. This morning was an example of trauma. I mean, this has happened so many times, and people who have said they'll go in with me have just, I get that they have their own lives, and that's why they need to go in with me and explain that they have their own lives, and that I am telling the truth. And without a place to sit down and go through all of the evidence and find all of the stuff that I need to find. And that's the thing about these guys procrastinating. The longer it goes on, the more crimes happen, the more frequent they happen. You then defend yourself against the wrong asshole. You end up with people doing some pretty heinous shit. Poor Robert, he's mentally ill, right? That's how that lady wanted to say it when there's that video with Robert assaulting that lady. Sorry, mutual assault, apparently. The way I dealt with it was out of desperation. I figured if I gave him the same treatment he's given me, he'd get it, but he didn't. Hey, Claire.
Hey. All right. Whenever you're ready, whatever you want to do.
All right. I got $14 worth of gas in my car. I've got $14 worth of gas in my car.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you can. Fuck, my shoulder sucks. That's where it's at. It's right above E.
How good is your gas mileage? Do you know what your gas mileage?
Oh, I got excellent gas mileage, just not with all this stuff on it.
Yeah, okay.
I was thinking about going out and trying to panhandle a few more, but if you guys are ready to head out, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah,
It increases the chances of me not getting victimized tonight.
Okay, let's go.
Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna talk
And
to
then we have gas cans, and I have stuff to do tomorrow, and there's plenty of space to be able to just remove it from the car.
Yes, ma'am. I was gonna try to do a little bit more on the internet, but getting out there is important too.
Okay. Well, do you think like 20 minutes will do ya?
Shit, I was gonna just start it up now and pull out behind
I
you.
think he's downloading some movies.
Oh, all right. Well, then, yeah, 20 minutes will do me good.
Okay.
Hell, if it's not too cold, I got my recording going.
Okay.
You know, if
I got us coffee stuff.
one of the things that I do intend on trying to send this video to the cops, if you can assist me with that. But one of the things
tomorrow
is,
we'll do the rest stuff.
yes, ma'am. Also, there's Tillamook Family Care Center or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to go there. I was supposed to go there yesterday, but my car ran out of gas.
Okay.
It died as I was
that's
pulling up
happened to
over
me a few
there.
times where I ended up stuck somewhere for like a week because I ran out of gas and missed appointments.
It ended up, it still had gas in it. It was just the angle I was sitting on.
Oh yeah, that happened too. Life. When your car is so low that you have to watch what the is on the road.
Well, one of the things is, you know, without a lot of people just like you that were aware of it and we're trying to help and we're offering to help, and and didn't follow through, like it's not a hate thing towards you and many of these other people. Obviously, it's not a hate thing towards them, but unlike them, you're not fucking stupid. So,
Well,
like,
thank you. Not stupid. I'll take that. I don't know about anything else.
the thing is that, you know, these people don't understand the importance of coming forward with the smallest details
Support
are
networks
important.
and things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes you just got to give the bum a cigarette because that's what they fucking need to be able
Maddie
to think
Boa,
straight.
Maddie Boa is the girl that started all of the rumors about me doing horrible stuff to Natalie and her sister. I needed Natalie and her
That's a dude's
sister to
worst
come
nightmare.
forward. It
So,
is.
yeah.
Well, my worst nightmare was that I was afraid someone was going to kill Natalie. She's high risk. You know that.
Yeah, I know how that goes.
I know that you're
I think about that
median
every day.
risk. You're median risk, and you're lucky for that. But you also are, you know,
Female.
top risk.
Yeah,
You're on
and
the
then my
female
support
side.
network like dissolved, and so it was like, oh shit, I could fall off the map and nobody would know.
Exactly, and that's the thing is I've had people threatening to kill me for so long. This morning, for me giving Farnsworth a taste of his own medicine,
Yeah, well,
I was as nice as I could. Now I don't mind, you know, admitting that I had butted
you know,
him.
I've talked to
It
a
wasn't
lot of
my
this,
choice,
like
though.
a lot of the people that, even the ones that, you know, like figuratively, not literally, had butt heads together, you know, and like you all have your things that maybe they clash. Doesn't make any one side horrible
Well,
people. It just means that you just can't get along with them.
what I'm trying to get across, I can get along with him. I
Well,
just
you're really
can't be threatened, harassed, and intimidated. When I'm pissed off about something, I'm pissed off about an actual situation. When I was venting about you guys not showing up and the importance of it, and how you not being able to show up resulted in me being abused like a motherfucker, I was literally screaming and cursing on my
Yeah.
YouTube channel. But I also, while I'm screaming, I'm explaining, hey, this pisses me off, but I don't hate them. They're not bad people.
To be there for you. And
They're
it
going
pissed me
through their
off,
own
too.
hell. And that's the thing about
Can I use your lighter?
you may. The cops in Colorado and elsewhere, they pretend that I'm not trying, that I didn't try to get help. And then they say, you know, people wouldn't help him probably because the way that he acts. And that's not the truth. The truth is people are threatening to kill him. I've got all of this evidence for 6 years. I've also got a whole bunch of mandated reporters. I was being blackmailed into buying a bunch of parts and manufacturing an 80% kit AR-15. There's actually 3 80% kits that I had to buy.
Yeah.
This dude was blackmailing me like a motherfucker. And I tried turning it into the lady who was supposed to be my autism advocate. She was all the way in Lincoln. She's a volunteer, so she literally doesn't do the job. It's not her job. And then,
So
like,
she's
the
not
police are
trained for
telling
it,
me I
but they
have to
can
go
get
to her
away
because
with it
she's
'cause
my
it's
advocate.
volunteer.
They can get away with it because she uses the title of advocate, but she's not an advocate.
Yeah, that's
They're
what I'm
able
saying.
to do that and get away with it by pretending that I had an advocate that whole time. She literally did not help
You
me
should
turn
see
in.
the horrendous things I've come across when I'm like, hey, ADA disability accommodation for myself. I have the paperwork, and people just chuckled and wouldn't even glance at my paperwork packet. They literally were just like restraining themselves from patting me on the head and being like, "You poor stupid thing." So yeah, I get it. I mean, it's a different angle because for you, you have that whole fear of being locked up for shit you didn't do, and for me, I have this fear of dying from people being like, "Oh, you poor dumb idiot," like, you know, treating me like a fucking tiny little moron and
Right.
blonde
The
girl.
thing
Because I
is,
have blonde hair.
everybody else, they didn't understand that them admitting why they didn't come forward, why they weren't able to. Because, I mean, as far as the legal stance goes, especially in Nebraska, the fact that they said that they were going to, and that I exerted resources towards what they promised me they were going to do, and they didn't do it, and they didn't come forward.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of those people committed felonies.
Yeah.
A lot of them literally assisted my predators in getting away with committing felonies,
Well, that's
including
what
murder.
happened to me this last 10 days. So I'm right there with you, and I need to figure out how to properly file that too. And it's been, you know,
Together.
Friday that I figured that I found out what happened, and here it is Monday, and I haven't been able to do anything about it because I'm still worried about making sure that I can survive long enough to do something about it.
Yes, and me too. The Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now the thing is, the reason that you didn't show up and keep your word is it because you're a bad person?
No, it's because I'm in a fucked up situation.
So it's not my fault that you
No,
weren't
it's
able
not.
to.
No, I wasn't able to, but I thought about it a lot. It was driving me bonkers. I would like scroll through my phone, and I have you saved as Sean, homeless superhero in my phone, and I would be like, "Damn it! I need to see where that guy is."
Yes, ma'am.
And I every time your little notifications pop up, I'd be like, "Oh man!" I'm like just hotspotting my government phone to be able to listen to music, and so I just can't like afford the band. I can't even watch it because of the bandwidth. I'm just like downloading some stuff and then listening offline, and then
I broke out.
would pop
Go
up,
ahead.
and I want to watch your videos, and it's all right, whatever you say. You gotta say what you gotta say.
Well, if I go in and I tell them, hey, she wasn't able to because she's got her own family stuff, her own stuff with her kids, her own stuff with her car,
Yeah.
you know, they do blow me off. They pretend
Yeah.
like it didn't happen. I have to have help with the computer stuff.
But I have documentation because I have court papers because, my ex filed a restraining order, lied on the restraining order, didn't even complete the paperwork, and then used that
You should
as
see
a
the
way to
stuff from
flee with the
Natalie.
kids and take them to Florida without saying anything to me. And yeah, so
You also understand that the way that they talk to you, you know, the tricks of the trade that they have for
that
for
just
shutting
comes
us
from
down.
having a highfalutin education.
You understand about panic attacks, and you know about
Yeah.
autism, and you know
Yeah.
how they know how easy it is to
To trigger
manipulate
that
us.
and then use that as an
Yup.
excuse. And then you know how many times I've heard people being like, "Oh, I think she's bipolar," and I'm like, "Stop trying to diagnose me. I'm trying to hand you my disability paperwork right now."
Yeah, well,
Saying I'm
see,
high
if they call you
functioning
bipolar, or schizophrenic,
Schizophrenic, yeah.
or delusional, or
or hysterical,
there's
which
one.
is not actually a diagnosis since like the 50s. They threw that shit out.
Well,
Hysteria is like the blanket term.
You're a
for
vagina,
a
though.
vagina having a hard time.
That's what it means. You're a vagina.
You're
It's fucking stupid.
Right, it is stupid. Well, we got you, and if you're ready to
Yes,
call us
ma'am.
out, listen.
Absolutely.
You need 20 minutes to gather
Well,
yourself?
no, I'm pretty well gathered. I mean, I'm scared shitless. I'm hoping I make it out there. I'm hoping my car makes it out there. I'm hoping that the cops leave me alone. I mean, I did headbutt him, but it wasn't an intentional thing.
know.
It was I'm scared shitless. You know, it's one thing when somebody's threatening to kill you and nobody's listening.
It's quite another when you have a knee-jerk reaction because somebody's literally in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it happened repeatedly, you've tried to turn it in repeatedly. Police have told you, oh, he's harmless. No, the fuck he's
got out
not.
of jail the first.
Like, there are people in this town, if they heard Farnsworth screaming at me that
See, I've never heard
I'm a
him
chimo
scream,
and
so
I'm a rapist and all this other
Oh,
crap
yeah.
that he was yelling at me while he was threatening to assault me and threatening to kill me, and like, for them to continue to allow that, they are allowing the predators access to me, which escalates it.
It does, and that's
Now,
what
the
they did
difference
with me. Is
between
they
him-
allowed the people that were being predators
Imagine
to
if-
continue, and not just continue, but escalate, and funded it, and funded the freaking rental car to get them to kidnap my kid.
Yep. Well, imagine
Oh, there's so much.
imagine if Robert Farnsworth was actually a young, pretty, blonde-haired girl from Boulder, Colorado, who's strung out on heroin. Very pretty and very sweet. Paints herself up like a China doll. She's a rape victim for dad, and you're literally being abused over shit like this, and people are threatening to kill your friends and your family. You're being threatened by biker gangs. And that's the stupidest part of all of it.
Stupidest crap. You know what? I actually love the biker gangs. They're pretty sweet.
Exactly. And see, that's the thing with Rebecca, Rebecca Foley. She's the woman that I came up here to assist, and she is so fucking scared.
Yeah.
Like, she ended up missing. They human trafficked her through 2 weeks down in the
That's what I was scared
Down
for
in
in my
the
14-year-old.
China
I was
district,
terrified they were going to do human trafficking, and so I was like, oh, really? Like, that's why I was just circling this town, is because I was so
There's
so
a lot of
scared
people on my
for
Facebook and my
kids and my
YouTube.
dog.
They pretend that people like you don't exist.
I know that's And then
they pretend people like Mandy Singer don't exist. She tried to help me.
Oh, because
and
it's too painful for their little precious, how would you put that?
You know the hell that Mandy Singer had to go through for helping me? They were going to kick her out of her place. She had to be afraid of that because if you have government assistance, then they'll use that to
try to
prevent you from helping anybody.
Well,
these are your friends and family. You can't keep them longer than 6 days.
You, so you have to do exactly how I say, what I say, and you're like, that actually doesn't work for me. Makes everything harder.
You got to jump through
and then
6 days of hoops for us now that your friend's here to get help.
Exactly. And it's then, like, well, I can't afford that. I just needed a gas voucher for $10, and they're like, oh, well, we'll give you $30 of frozen food that you have no fridge for, which is why we got to get out there and put it in the cooler on top of the vans.
Absolutely. Well, the whole thing is by having it recorded on video, your reasons, even though it's like I said, I fucking screamed, but I admitted it ain't your fault. The parts that I was pissed off about, I definitely.
You can stop apologizing because first of all, I haven't seen it yet. Second of all, if you don't want me to, I won't. And
I want you to.
I will. Then, and I don't care. You gotta say what you gotta say. And I want to hear what you have to say. I promise to look at it tomorrow.
I curse a lot. I use the word cunt if people get somebody harmed or killed.
I am not offended by the word cunt, and I'm not afraid of cuss words. So.
Absolutely. Well, tomorrow I want to show you a couple of short clips of the actual situations of a 14-year-old girl being assaulted by a sheriff's deputy here.
Okay.
I also want to try to call.
Reserve a room in the library so that we have a private room in there to work on all this
Yes,
stuff.
ma'am. I'm not worried about a private room, but yes, you're right about that. It does help, and it also prevents you from getting kicked out if you use words like rape or murder or incest.
And then if you're dealing with your taxes and stuff too, private numbers and crap.
I'm not sure if we'll be able to get all that done tomorrow, but I do want to be able to show you the evidence so that you can verify it.
Yeah.
And that way it's something that's easier to do. But the Tillamook family care place, that's a place I got to go in person to see. So
okay, we'll make sure you get that.
Yes, ma'am.
I owe you big. I've promised this a few times, and I've not been able to follow through because everybody in my support network has been really hard on me. So
yes, ma'am.
And I still don't understand why I deserve it, but they say I do, so it doesn't matter. It just means I don't have support from them. It doesn't matter if they're right or I'm right. It just means there's no support,
Well, I know for a fact that I can see your license plates. They are from Colorado, so when you say you've been to Colorado, I can believe you from Colorado.
Yeah, well, and then all of our national park stickers because I'm an outdoor junkie.
Yes, ma'am. All right, be safe.
All right, you gonna follow us out there?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
I'll start up my car well, I guess your lights are on anyway. I was going to say I'll start my car up as soon as you're ready. Just turn on your lights, but they're already on.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. All right, at some point this video is probably going to cut off. It's going to make it difficult to show some of this stuff. I'm going to pull out a notepad tonight. Do what?
We're gonna need just a little bit more time.
All right, cool. I won't start my car until you're ready for that because I'm not sure exactly. All right. I'm not sure exactly how much gas that'll waste. I'm cold. I'm gonna turn on my car for a minute and charge my batteries. As far as what happened this morning with him getting headbutted, that's actually not training. The headbutt, that's a flinch. That's a body's natural reaction. Flinching is, you ever hear the saying, 2 for flinching? I always flinch. It's a natural reaction. Some people call me a scaredy cat because I flinch. No, just fucking stop fucking with me. Leave me the fuck alone. Now, when it comes to a situation where I've gone to cops repeatedly and every time they have blown me off, it's not okay to threaten to kill me. Okay? It's just not. And all of the things that I'm trained, that I'm supposed to do since I was a kid. You're supposed to go to teachers. You're supposed to go to preachers. You're supposed to go to cops. At the hospital, they refused to take a report about a 14-year-old girl being assaulted in front of me on camera. Mandated reporters. This is literally according to the video with Farnsworth this morning, according to the first preacher I talked to, and possibly the second one. I haven't gotten that far in listening to the video. A lot of times when I'm in a heightened situation like that, I'm scared. I am scared. I'm talking 400 miles a minute. I'm repeating myself over and over again. I'm trying to impress upon them this is a very real and very scary situation, and I can't function because of the abuse. How can you expect me to function when I am still taking the abuse, when I have to be afraid of these people every single day, and you tell me to get away from them? I can't afford to keep moving. If I don't have the money to leave Hood River, I'm stuck in Hood River. If I don't have the money to leave the Dalles, I'm stuck in the Dalles. If I don't have the money to leave Tillamook, I'm stuck in Tillamook. And if I'm being victimized, I am shut down. What I asked for repeatedly was for people to go in with me and for everything to be recorded so that there was evidence. Your word for it is fucking bullshit if you don't come forward. A lot of you say, oh, I talked to you about it in the YouTube. Yeah, but you have to help me to take it forward. They're trying to pretend I'm schizophrenic. They use the mentally ill tag as an excuse to ignore the victims. The law says that they're supposed to do something when I try to turn in crimes against me. When it gets to the point where I have to literally defend myself in the way that I did this morning, because being nice was not fucking working, going to fucking mandated reporters was not fucking working, going to the witnesses for help was not fucking working. I want Farnsworth to get help, and I don't mean get help in the way that you guys do. I mean, he needs to have time to get clean and get sober, and he needs a massive quantity of fucking love. He's got that Maslow's hierarchy of needs going on, same as myself, same as Claire. He is a highly at-risk adult out here. This morning was the third time that he got hurt over his behavior. Now, the other two people, 3 times in, 3 weeks? I don't know what happened at the other two. I wasn't there. I had to hear it from Lewis. It's recorded on my channel. It's the mass quantity of it. And the fact that while I am still just trying to fucking take care of my basic survival needs, I have this going on. And mandated reporters playing stupid because this is fucking insanity. Just like this situation where it's been, All right, those people with the situation with Molly. It's been about 2 months since all that started. Molly got away with it. I had people stalk me here from Hood River, for Christ's sake. And yeah, the guy's name is in my recording somewhere. I can find his name. He was creeping on Shayna and Logan. I got messages with them. I've even got recordings with them while I was talking to. There's a guy named Nathan. Those of you who have seen the video on my channel, I think it's called like Daniel's Koi Fish or something. But in that video, it was right after Daniel put his foot through the window. And the guy, Nathan, he is the one whose window the foot was put through. I had a talk with him. Logan and Shayna were both there for the situation. They ran because they were scared. They didn't want to get blamed. But they were there when I was talking to Nathan. I said they were there too. They were afraid. They're homeless. We're all afraid. We're all afraid. And he was saying there's some other stuff that continues to be vandalized, and I want that to stop. I want the vandalizing against Nathan and his establishment to stop. He said he wasn't going to press charges against Daniel unless he knew that Daniel was going to get actual help and not just locked up in a fucking jail or a prison. Daniel needs help. He does need to be in a situation where he's supervised. But I let him know, and Logan and Shane were right there. I let Nathan know when he came and talked to me about the incident afterward and wanted to apologize. He wanted to know if I thought Daniel was the one that might have been continuing to damage his stuff. I said, well, I didn't see him do anything more, but it might be he thinks the property's his. You know, he's got this delusion that he owns everything here. And there's like 4 people there who have this delusion that they own everything there. Daniel was with me when I was poisoned. I don't mean literally poisoned, but yeah, literally poisoned. By law, what they did to me is literally poison me. You know, when I try to do the right thing, there's a lot of other people's hatred and ignorance that I got to deal with. I got to deal with the fact that a lot of people, despite the fact that they know that a particular person who is victimizing the shit out of me is on severe quantities of fucking methamphetamines, that person is family. I did try to impress upon all these people that I did headbutt the man. Not intentionally, but it did happen. It never should have gotten that far advanced. I have to chase him away from my vehicle. I had to chase him away from my vehicle. And he came back again. Now, for me, I record because of people like Farnsworth. There's a lot of people that, because I'm a wallflower, they let me know their most intimate secrets. For many of these people, those intimate secrets were their excuses for not coming forward. Sean, I don't want to be targeted by the cops. I've already had my kids taken twice. Well, that's scary, isn't it? Word of advice, and you have a daughter who is a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white girl under the age of 6 years old, they're going to harass you for literally everything. They're going to take your child, and they're going to sell your child likely to somebody in the surrounding area, but it won't be Boulder. And good luck finding your child in Denver. And they do it legally by breaking the law, by targeting you incessantly and not letting up. You get to hear the situation with the 14-year-old girl. They're training in specific. I tell them about a child who was abused in front of me. If I don't turn it in, and I want you to understand that when it comes to mandated reporting, I am trained but not ordained, if you know what I'm saying. I've been informed of the HEPA laws. I've also been lied to about the HEPA laws and had people misuse the HEPA laws, including public pretenders. The police said that that I wasn't trying to get help and that people wouldn't help me probably because of the way that I act. No, I was repeatedly cut off from them. A lot of people offered to help. I couldn't communicate with them. There was a lot of evidence at the beginning. People were getting on there and finding the evidence and fucking calling it spam. So, of course, it gives me a notice. By the time I learned how to take screenshots, I was able to take screenshots of those notices. Got to get someone to go in with me to look at them. And everybody's telling me all of their excuses. If they're real, you'll speak up about them. Don't give me lip service, please. I've gone to all of the proper authorities and I've tried to do this the right way. Claire can go with me to the Tillamook family counseling and say at least what she's seen. I went to the mandated reporters. But then I have, of course, to get an act of God. An act of God to get the paperwork, to get the body cameras, to get a new court date. To get actual evidence shown. If I gotta break the fucking window, I'll break the fucking window. I've been to jail and prison repeatedly since Natalie was killed for protecting you and your children. You're welcome. You're welcome. When your children go missing, I speak. I try to lend you my voice. I need someone to lend me theirs. That's the thing about verification. If you've seen it, that's one of the things about me wanting to get out of town real soon here. You know, they can prevent me from turning these things in where they need to go by repeatedly pulling this crap and then going to a judge saying, hey, you know, this guy's this, and this, pulling out little bits and pieces and misusing them. Without someone to speak up, it don't work. I do believe that Claire and Casey are going to help me fill out police reports. While we're filling out the police reports, we also hopefully, I don't even know what to do about getting the police reports. Maybe we can print them off, but I'll have to spend tomorrow morning panhandling instead of preparing. I love all these people who threw me away. Even the ones who think they threw me away yesterday. They threw me away a long time ago. 6 years is a long time to not listen, to not give a shit, to not realize that there's something wrong. Of course, at the hospital, I had to go alone, and for the next of kin part, didn't have anyone to put down. I couldn't put down my little sister. I couldn't put down my dad. I couldn't put down my mom. I couldn't put down either one of my brothers. Couldn't put down any of my uncles, cousins, nobody. No aunts or uncles. They exist, they just don't care. They don't understand or comprehend the magnitude of the situation for which they have created by ignoring it, by not doing what a family would do. But see, this is what our predators prey on. When we go for help, we get the mentally ill treatment by our own friends and our own families. We've got people who are involved in the situation from day one saying, I don't want to get involved. It's too late, dummy. It's too late. You're not getting that. It's too late. You're already involved. You've been involved. You just don't want to listen. You want to continue to talk over me and give me excuses. I've got the laws and I've got what these professionals and my friends have said, and they're absolutely wrong about the law. I've told them what the law states. Megan Misigatis, when I told her, hey, I need you to keep your word. The things that you were going to do when I was able to get that hotel room, I need you to speak up about those things because that will help me get a new court date. That is what is required. She tried to insinuate that anybody who would follow the law is a fucking idiot, trying to take advantage of me. No, that's not the case. The case is that I have to go to drug addicts and alcoholics, people who are tripping on mushrooms, people who are schizophrenic, to try to get help because mandated reporters won't and my family don't care. My friends think if they look away that everything's okay because they weren't there to see it. It must not have happened. Well, there were situations with them that absolutely did happen. If you go through my videos and you listen to the videos with Miss Peaches, there's one of those videos where she knew she was being recorded. The other ones, she didn't. You can listen and you can tell the difference. On the one where she knew she was being recorded, she was talking about things that she was not there for. She was just spouting what she thought I wanted her to say, and that's not what I wanted her to do. I wanted her to tell the truth. Just like that lady this morning, Miss Cheryl. I just wanted her to tell the truth. And she did. I was hoping she'd be able to verify the situation with me headbutting him. Like I said, it wasn't a situation where I was trying to headbutt him. The more advanced it gets, the more I have to face him. You know what happens the moment you turn your back? When people are schizophrenic and violent as fuck, yeah, that is a very bad time for you to turn around and expose yourself. Always face them. Always. That doesn't mean stare them down. However, if it gets desperate, yeah, stare them down. Talking calmly and nicely, that's what needs to be started with. That's what you need to begin with. That's what you need to lead with. On nearly all of the situations where I've had people that are there to help, that's when the police decided to pull their bullshit, separate me from the evidence, and claim I'm making it up. Meanwhile, my public pretenders, because they're all pieces of shit, aren't going to requisition the evidence. They're going to allow it to be stolen. Just like Scott DaCosta did. Stole evidence of his own wrongdoing. Just like the police in Rawlins, Wyoming did, stealing evidence of their own wrongdoing and doing everything that they could, knowingly and willingly, to try to have evidence that was in my vehicle towed, and the evidence in it that I told them had child abuse, evidence of child abuse on it. So they stole the computer that I recorded them committing crimes on and refused to release it to me unless I pled guilty to the crime I didn't commit. Well, I pled guilty. Brandon Ratner was there. He's a witness. The problem is he doesn't help me come forward with this or turn it in. Ever. He's just too busy. You know what? He's a lazy piece of shit after 6 years. He's a horrible excuse for a friend. A lot of these people say, I'm sorry, I'm a bad friend, I'm a bad friend. You know what? People are fucking dying. You stupid piece of shit. Once it gets to that point, you're telling me you're a bad friend. Yeah, well, you got to understand that we're only away from me posting your shit on the fucking internet because you never tried to come forward with me. You said that you would. You took advantage of me. You took advantage of my resources. In a lot of these situations, that's absolutely how it feels and absolutely what happened in a lot of these cases. With many of these people, they didn't rip me off intentionally, but they still ripped me off. I'm understanding of the situation. Like, let's say Joshua Eichelberger. He's a drunken asshole at Tabby's, and he made all of our lives hell. I paid a lot of money so that I could stay there. and have my stuff there, including a lot of evidence and my tools. I paid for their pot. I paid for their booze. I paid for their time, and I paid for gas. I need Claire and Casey there with me so that these people aren't allowed or able to antagonize the situation or antagonize me. Claire is already aware, I'm fairly certain, and we can educate Casey on it real quick, fast, and in a hurry. The way that the downloading of the movies that he's doing, that is likely because there's probably no internet access up there. There's probably no phone access. I know that's the way it was at my campsite. What happened this morning is a trauma response. All these people telling me, oh, he'll leave you alone. He didn't, hasn't. And law enforcement has done everything that they can to avoid the situation, to lie to me about the situation, to lie to me about the laws. Same thing with people at the hospital day before yesterday. For me to have to go in and talk to police alone is the scariest damn thing ever, especially when they know you're trying to turn them in. They'll look for any excuse to lock you up, separate you from the evidence, and prevent you from telling on them. Then they try to insinuate that you're schizophrenic, delusional, bipolar, or what's the other one? Manic. There's a difference between mania and having a trauma response. When these guys antagonize the situation and I'm talking a million miles a minute, you guys get to see in that video with Mr. Farnsworth how scared of that man that I am. Is that mania that I'm experiencing at that point? No, it's not. It's not any different than being repeatedly threatened, harassed, intimidated, and fucking assaulted by people in Boulder over Maddie Boa lying about things that never happened to Natalie and Alicia. Their druggie buddies getting involved. I mean, Farnsworth, he's got friends in the area. I don't. Farnsworth, people will make excuses for him or treat me like I'm a piece of shit for turning him in. Meanwhile, it was somebody else called 911. I'm fairly certain. I'll have to go back and look at the evidence. I'm pretty sure I was recording the whole incident and saying, I hope somebody calls 911. I did something you're not supposed to be able to do as well. I recorded a court date to show that the judge, also Polly Olson, who's currently, she's locked up. She spent a lot of the county's money over $100,000 embezzled from the county taxpayers to have me put in prison to prevent me from turning him in, to separate me from the evidence. So this is a very real fear. These mandated reporters, because they didn't do their jobs, we're talking about over a dozen people who will be literally prevented from having their jobs anymore, potentially. I haven't looked into that portion of the law in this specific state. I know in several others that's absolutely the case. You're a mandated reporter. It's not an option. When you lie and you say that somebody can't turn in abuse against a child, that is absolutely a fucking lie. I can't turn in crimes that happen to somebody else to a mandated reporter. Yes, I can. Especially if I am scared shitless for that individual and myself as a result of the situation. Especially if I am afraid to go to the sheriff's department because of that situation. I'm a lot friendlier with the sheriff's department than I am with the police department, if you hadn't noticed. Got my evidence in storage, and we'll have to put that up on the way back into town, or I will. But the thing is, if they arrest me, they're not going to give a shit. They're going to pretend that the evidence doesn't exist, allow it to get towed and fucking tossed. It cost me every bit of my disability money to get it out. And of course, by then, it won't be legal anymore. And I won't have the money to get it legal. And if I don't have the money to get it legal and can't prove that it's legal, they won't let me take it off the lot. Not under its own steam, anyway. I have to find a flatbed or a tow. These are the tricks of the trade. This is how your tyrants get away with committing these crimes. Do any of these officers here have the balls to turn in crooked cops on force? I go in alone, they break the law, they lie to me. Not okay. I'm not sure what'll happen if I end this live video by disconnect up in the mountains. The most important thing tomorrow is to turn in what happened to that 14-year-old girl with Claire. Her daughter is 14, and that is absolutely something that she has expressed that she's down with turning in. Also, like I was telling you, when she was talking about having that bowl that was dusted, it was probably the same guy that gave that stuff to me. She can look at the video and see if it's the same guy. And yeah, he's admitted to being a meth addict on my channel. And he admitted that, yes, he gave me weed that had meth in it. He also said he was sorry. So for me, I'm not going to smoke anybody else's weed. I have to smoke or I can't get in with the homeless community at all. I've got a couple of connections and understandable people here who, well, like Claire and Casey, they understand the frustrations. They also give a shit. Well, they also have their own shit going on. In one moment. For me, the two most important things to try to get done tomorrow are, all right, you are down with trying to turn in the stuff with 14-year-old girl. All right, I don't have to be online to do that because it's recorded on one of my tablets. That's the thing. This is electronic stuff, and it all gets expensive. And I've got 6 years worth of evidence. I mean, I showed you the video with Jamie getting punched in the back of the head, right? I had Google Drive. That's the thing. It's not having the money. I wasn't able to pay the accounts, and that destroyed a bunch of evidence. I mean, I literally did what all of these professionals told me to do, including getting the expensive Google stuff. And then literally the day after I bought all that expensive Google stuff, let me finish this real quick though. Right after I finished getting all the expensive Google stuff and buying the Google upgrades for it, on all three of the accounts full of evidence, the next day I was arrested. Literally, I was there to try to turn in my predators. Specifically, Scott DeCosta, Leslie Snell, Robert Warnick, and William Barr. Well, they all conspired together. Their names are all over everybody else's paperwork. And that's what I got at storage that needs to be seen. If they come up with an excuse and make up an excuse or manufacture an excuse to arrest me, I'm going to need people to speak up very loud if you're capable. But turning in that shit with that 14-year-old girl, what I need you to do though is just look at the video, verify that it is real, and then also the thing is that when I'm doing that, I also have to turn in every single one of the mandated reporters that I went to in that situation. And also, I have the evidence that I'm going to need to have a stay from the police. It's called a stay. But that means that they can't arrest me or come up with false charges. Yes, ma'am. The most important part is protecting the evidence and getting the evidence seen. My life doesn't matter. The evidence does. And I'm going to try to give you the stuff and permission to go get my storage stuff. If I get arrested, I want you to be able to get it. Also, a lot of that stuff needs to be turned in with the FBI, which is absolutely insane. I admit to everything I do. If they want to put me in prison for the rest of my life, that'll keep my little sister safe. That'll keep my niece safe. That'll keep Candace and her kids safe. That'll keep Kayla and her kids safe. It's all across state lines, which is the best part. All of this is across jurisdictional lines. Yes, ma'am. The Tillamook family care place or whatever, Tillamook Family Health, that and also the 14-year-old girl, we might be able to go to the Tillamook Family Health and explain to them that we're being sent to them as mandated reporters to get, I was told to go there for an advocate and a guardian. That's specifically what I was supposed to go there for, and to turn this shit in. They told you what? They berated you for having an autistic meltdown in their office. If it's a girl, they call a counselor. If it's a guy, they call the cops. But that's not always true. With Rebecca, a lot of the shit that I've gone through typically doesn't happen to women, but she did have it happen. She's also, a lot of the stuff that I talk about, hey, at least I'm not doing this or threatening to do this, a lot of that stuff come directly from Rebecca because she's a fucking evil bitch when it comes to you don't fucking rape kids. You don't fucking human traffic, you know? Well, I got 2 people recorded just yesterday talking about killing people. One of them even offered to kill Ted Bollinger. That's recorded as well. I mean, they're pretending that I'm making this stuff up, so the recordings are important. Yes, ma'am. All right, let's get the hell out of here. Yep. All right, good to be with you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. I gotta pee real quick. There's nowhere here to pee, so I'm gonna pee in my container. I'm gonna cover the windows so that I'm not breaking the law. Oh, there might be a better container for peeing in. I found one. All right. Good to be with you. Thanks for coming to visit. Trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper. No victim left behind.